that, because I was waiting to see if anybody was going to say, well, I want to know why certain foods don't do very well in the microwave and why certain ones do and all that kind of good stuff, but that's okay.
I know certain foods you want to microwave, certain foods do.
Oh, good question, Eddie. So let's talk about your microwave oven, because everybody has one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And the things we're going to talk about, for those of you who are consultants, these are the kind of things you're going to want to use at your party, because this is going to help your customer understand why they need our products and how it's going to help them make their lives easier. Our goal at our parties is to help people learn how to save time and how to save money and how to live a better life and by eating healthier. And that's really and truly what the microwave can do, because most people that have microwave ovens, they use it for defrosting, heating up those TV dinners, reheating your coffee, boiling some water, popping some popcorn. Is that about right for most of you? And if that is what you're using it for, then what you have is a very expensive popcorn popper. So what we want to do is try to show you how to get the most benefit of it and how it can actually help you eat healthier and be able to save time and money at the same time. So the first thing you need to know about your microwave is that it is a six-sided metal box. Six-sided metal box. And if you look at it, you go, well, yeah, I guess I can see that, but then there's that window in the front, so how can it be six sides of metal? Well, actually, inside of this window here, there is a metal screen, and that's what keeps the microwave from popping out. So really and truly, the chances that you're going to get any kind of radiation poisoning from standing around your microwave or using it is about the chance that you're going to get sunburned at full moon at the middle of the night outside. And I don't know about you, but we don't usually put too much sunscreen on to stand out and get our do our sunbathing at midnight. So it's really not going to be a problem, because the microwave ray itself is about 1.5 inches long, and it's about the width of a pencil or your little finger. So I kind of look at it that this is about what a microwave ray looks like. Okay? And so what microwave rays do is they are searching for 3 types of molecules, which they are going to. I had a scientist at a party one time. She told me I used the wrong word, but I think that they get agitated. She says it's not what they do, but I say they get agitated. Anyway, they get kind of excited, and they start doing like this, and then they start rubbing against each other. When they rub against each other, they rub your hands together, what happens?
Friction.
Friction, and that creates heat.
Heat.
And that's exactly how your microwave cooks. It looks for molecules of 3 things. Anybody know what they are? Brownie points. Fat is one. Fat is the number one. Excellent. Sugar is the second one. Water is the third. Fat, sugar, and water. Those are the 3 molecules that microwaves are attracted to, and when they find them, it causes them to get all excited, and they start bumping up against each other, and they create heat, and that's how they cook. And so if it only goes in 1.5 inches, then you've got to prepare your food in such a way that it can get further inside, which is why sometimes when you go to cook things in the microwave, the outside gets really, really done, and the inside stays raw, because it can't get to the center, which is all why the way you place the food makes a big difference. All right, so in our microwave, we have 6 sides metal box. In the top up here, there's a little generator or motor. This is where the microwaves are created. And there's a fan there. So when you hear that humming sound, it's a fan, and it goes around like this. And the microwaves hit it because it's also metal, and it shoots them out into all different directions. It hits all the sides of the box. It keeps bouncing around, looking for that fat and sugar, which is why you never operate your microwave without food in it, because otherwise it doesn't have any place to go. And this is what it's going, that's why you, and that's how you cook your food. Is it's in there, and it's bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing around. Boom, that's it, okay? So that's just like a short lesson on how it cooks. Now, when we cook on high power in our microwave, which is typically I'll go, walk away, right? That's what we all do. And that's like cooking it high on your stovetop. So what kind of things do you do at high on your stovetop? Boil water. Everything on the stove. You just turn your stove on high and leave everything. Okay, you're usually going to boil your water, anything you want to burn, you want to get, you're in a hurry, you want to melt it fast. Okay, that's usually what you do with high. In your oven, 500 degrees. And there's not a whole lot of things we cook at 500 degrees either. Is it 450, 500? Usually that's going to be things like baked potatoes, things that can handle really high intensity of heat, stuff like that. So high on our microwave is for things that we want to do fast, boil some water, pop some popcorn, heat some oil, something like that, but not something that we want to leave for a very long time because it'll probably burn if we do. Okay? 70% power is about like 350 degrees in your oven. It's about like medium to medium high on your stovetop. So that's typically where you cook a lot of things. You're going to, if you're stirring, bringing things up to a boil, or simmering, not simmering, but kind of getting a nice little boil going. That's usually what you're going to do there in your oven. oven. That's where you cook your cakes, most of your casseroles, anything that you want to cook for, with a moist heat, that's usually what you're going to do there. 50% power is like your slow simmer and your slow heating in the oven, and 20 to 30% power is usually what you would use for defrosting. It's the things that you would simmer if you just want something to slow cook. You can actually slow cook in a microwave. Like you would do slow cooking that takes you all day long, you can slow cook for 2 hours in your microwave. Still saves you a lot less energy because it doesn't take as long to do it. And the food comes out great with that longer cooking time as well. So lots of really good things. A good website for you to go to if you want to learn a lot more information is called GoodNuke, GoodNuke.com, goodnuke.com. It's a website by a lady named Carolyn Dodson. She is probably the foremost authority on microwaves and microwave cooking. When they came up with the very first Amana radar range, which is exactly what the first microwave was called, she was hired by them to develop recipes, and she went around to stores, and microwaves at that time were about this big. And she would teach them how to use it. And she was hired by Tupperware to help develop the idea of stack cooking, which we're going to do tonight. And it uses these principles that we're going to put into play. And so she was hired by Tupperware. She helped them develop the line, and she developed a whole series of recipes for us. I hired her to come and do a training for us, and I learned so much from her. So her website's a great resource. You can print out some good stuff that you can take and share, like about how much money you'll save in electricity in the course of a year's time, and all kinds of good stuff like that. Okay? So that's the kind of the basics of your microwave, and those are the things you want to know. Now, since we know that microwaves now are only about how long? And about how wide? And so we know that now we've got to figure out how we put our food into the put our containers. So what's going to be the best shape for your microwave?
Round.
A container, yes, round. A round container is the best shape to use for your microwave. So about 1.5 inches in, about 1.5 inches in. It's still not touching, which is why a lot of times we use a ring in the middle as a locator so that we get 1.5 inches in from this way and 1.5 inches from the outside. They meet in the middle, that way everything gets cooked all the way around. So typically when you're placing food in the microwave, you're going to want to put it in more of a ring shape, always leaving a little bit of a hole in the center for a lot of the things that you're going to cook. Now, of course, we're going to use our pasta cooker, which is not necessarily round, but I'll tell you why that is when we get to that. The first recipe we're going to fix is we're going to actually use this stack cooking concept. And we're going to make a 3-course meal in the microwave in 25 minutes. Okay? And it's called, the way you look at it is that the things that go in the bottom are things that need either simmering heat, things that don't take as long to cook, so your grains that just need to absorb some water, your vegetables that are canned and already pre-cooked, like corn or green beans or things like that, or anything that's sort of a soft vegetable or soft consistency that you're cooking in there, because it's like cooking at 30 to 40% power.
Like broccoli or something?
Yeah, broccoli. Broccoli would be good in here too. We're going to actually do broccoli in the middle, but I'm going to show you why. So we're in the bottom today, we're going to do quinoa. Anybody know what quinoa is? Superfood.
Grain.
It's a superfood, and it's a grain. It's one of the oldest grains that has been harvested for eating purposes. It's extremely high in protein and fiber. And a superfood is a food that gives you more nutritional value than the caloric amount that your body needs to use it. So it really superizes everything that you do. I guess that's a good way to describe it. And it's a very tasty food. And if you've never had it, this will be an opportunity for you to try it and see if you like it as well. So it's kind of a little nutty tasting. There's several different kinds. We're going to use just the regular white quinoa. There's a red quinoa as well. And we're going to use that. Okay, so we're just going to do a real simple thing with that. Then in the center, this is where you cook your things that need moist heat and medium cooking. So like if you're making a casserole, if you're going to do pork chops, if you're going to do meatloaf, if you're going to do chicken, and we're going to do chicken tonight. And we're going to do a recipe that I love. It's vegetables in the bottom in the same container that we do our chicken. So what happens is as the chicken cooks, the juice in the chicken flavors your vegetables, which means you can use less salt in your cooking, which is going to be healthier for you. It also has no extra liquid, which means the vegetables will maintain more nutritional value at the same time. And it's all gonna come out at the same time. So we're gonna have broccoli and carrots in the bottom of this. And on top of that, we're gonna have Italian seasoned chicken. We're using boneless chicken breast. They're gonna be breaded in an Italian seasoned breadcrumbs with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And then that's gonna go right on top of the quinoa. And then our last piece that we're gonna put on top is going to be cranberry spiced pears. Now you can use canned pears for this, but we're gonna use fresh ones today, and I got some fresh Bosc pears. And the reason we're doing this in the top is typically in the top, this is your most intense microwave action. So normally this is where you put things like winter squash, potatoes, anything you want crispy, like an apple crisp, and you want to have a little crunchy topping on it as well. Or anything that's in a syrup or sauce that will help absorb some of the microwave action. So because we have these pears, which are, they're firm, but they're pretty much a lot of water and sugar in them, we're going to put a syrup on it. We're going to put cranberry juice syrup, or actually just cranberry juice on it with cinnamon sticks. And as it cooks, because the juice itself has more natural sugar than the pears will have, it'll pull more microwaves, and it'll start to cook off the water, and it'll start to get thickened like a syrup, and then we can pour it on top of the pears. And so then you have cranberry spiced pears, which is a great side dish to go along with Italian seasoned chicken and with your quinoa. All right, so any questions about our menu?
Marshall, what did you say the percentage of the center was?
Center's about 350. It's just like doing it on 60 to 70% power. It's about it. So the bottom's like 30 to 40, middle's about like 60 to 70, and the top is like 90 to 100. But once again, when you put a sauce on something, it tends to lower what the wattage is. So think about it this way. Have you ever put a jelly donut in the microwave?
No.
Nobody ever has? Okay. Something with cream filling in there. If you ever do, be very careful. Because what happens is the center is so much higher concentrated sugar than the donut itself. So what happens is it gets super hot, scalding hot, much more so than the outside. So you touch it, oh, it feels nice and warm, perfect, bite, oh my God, I just burnt the inside of my mouth. Okay, I've not done it, but I'm just telling you that that's what will happen. All right, so we're going to let you guys help me out.